does he think that it was just incompetence, or does he think that there's a possibility that it was done specifically for a reason, like to leave open, I don't know, an opportunity for someone to take a shot? You know?
Sure. Lots and lots of people are talking about that today and yesterday. And my gut response is no, or likely no, only because an operation like that would have so many moving parts that it would be virtually impossible to carry out. And I mentioned this today to this FBI friend of mine, and she said, she's given this a lot of thought as well. And if they were going to do that, they wouldn't have outsourced it to a 20-year-old, just some local yokel from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. And they wouldn't have done it in front of thousands of people. It's just not the way they would carry out an operation like that. Not that they have in the past.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying. But in the event that there was an operation,
they would miss.
Yeah. They would
Number one, they wouldn't if it was the military or any kind of U.S. organization, Trump would not be here right now.
So
that's right.
Is he? So what you're saying is, if it's a patsy situation where the kid is just a patsy, at the very least they're going to have snipers to take out Trump.
You're exactly right, and there would have to be secondary and tertiary levels just in case the kid missed or the kid needed to be taken out.
Right.
You remember seeing the video of Lee Harvey Oswald saying, "I'm just a patsy," right before he was killed. That's something I think we're always going to have to be thinking about in situations like this.
Now, what do you make of? I mean, I've been watching, as well as everyone probably has been watching. I've been watching hundreds and hundreds of people's takes on what happened over the last 2 days. And it seems like an overwhelming majority of people who have been looking at this, and people, talking heads on YouTube that have been, doing a play-by-play, the consensus is that it was the United States that was behind this, or the quote deep state was behind this, because their evidence is like, look at the last 4 years of how they tried to take out Trump with all these other things, with there was Russiagate, there was the show trial in New York, then there was what else was there? The document case. Yeah, there's so many things that they've tried to do to take him out of the race, and then now you have an assassination. Well, isn't that convenient? Right? Like, that seems to be the overwhelming consensus. And I don't know, because I wasn't alive back when they tried to take out Reagan. But was it like that?
Reagan wasn't taken. Nobody tried to take out Reagan.
No, who was the guy that was shot? It was Reagan, right?
Yeah, Reagan was shot by John Hinckley.
Right. So
trying to impress Jodie Foster.
Right, exactly. So when Reagan was shot, was America talking about it the way they're talking about it right now? Like, was America thinking like, oh my God, this was America that took him out, or the deep state or whatever?
No.
No, the whole country pulled together. Reagan's popularity went into the 90s. The whole country came together.
Right.
It's so different. You and I, Danny, have talked about this in the past. I've been in Washington for 42 years. I moved here the week after I turned 18 to go to college. And it has become such an ugly, mean-spirited city. I'm not able to compare it to any other place that I've been in the world. And so that's why we have these rumors. That's why we have, rational people, like people I respect, for example, going on Twitter or going on Facebook and saying it was the deep state. Well, like I said, there are so many moving parts to a conspiracy that if it was the deep state, they would have gotten him ages ago. They wouldn't have to have, trumped up federal and state charges and found this 20-year-old idiot to climb onto a roof. They would have gotten him. They would have gotten him somehow. Yeah, I've got a buddy who's a retired colonel in the Army and kind of a prominent Republican fundraiser now. And he told me over the weekend that he went to Mar-a-Lago about 6 months ago for a fundraising event. And he and his wife they not only have concealed carry permits, but they're concealed carry instructors. And so he pulls up to Mar-a-Lago, and the Secret Service stops him at the gate. And hey, folks, how are you tonight? Do you have any weapons in the car? And he said, actually, we do. We've got 2 weapons in the trunk, but they're both secured. The Secret Service guy says, I'm sorry, you can't bring them onto the ground. He said, fine. He let his wife out, drove back to the hotel, locked up his guns in the safe, and then went back to Mar-a-Lago 15, 20 minutes later. But he said, the point is, nobody ever searched the car.
Right.
And if he had said, no, I don't have any guns, he could have walked right into that ballroom fully armed.
Wow.
What is the Secret Service thinking? I mean, this is a systemic problem here. It's not just what happened Saturday. It's through the entire system of protection that the Secret Service is supposed to be implementing.
Right. How much credit do you give to the idea that it could have been a foreign adversary like China, Russia, or Iran?
Right. Well, that's something that the FBI mentioned right off the bat. That it's something that they have to consider. And
How possible or how probable do you think something like that would be?
Unlikely. You know, when John Kennedy was killed, the Soviets came to us within minutes. And at the CIA, you know, we keep all these historical documents. You can, as a junior analyst, you can just go through them and get an idea of what it was like back then. They came to us within minutes of Kennedy being killed and saying, we swear to God it wasn't us. We swear it wasn't us. The Chinese did the same thing. And then the Cubans asked the Mexicans to tell us, look, it wasn't us.
Right.
So that's a trigger for World War III.
Absolutely.
If you try to take out a candidate for president of the United States.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
just not worth the blowback potential.
Once again, you're not going to use the 20-year-old. It's the same thing. There's going to be, even if they're going to do it, it's going to be a successful operation. They're not going to leave anything to chance.
Yeah.
They're not going to put it in the hands of a 20-year-old kid.
And it's not going to be from 145 yards either. It's going to be from 500 yards or 800 yards.
Oh, really?
Have any idea where it came from? If you're going to use a professional sniper to do it, first of all, he's not going to use an AR-15 with, you know, by all accounts, you know, 22 or 5.56 or whatever, you know,
rounds, right?
BBs he was shooting.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a professional sniper, he's going to be so far away you can't even see him, and he's not going to miss.